Microsoft recommends that we use quota templates when we create these quotas. An example of why a quota template would actually be beneficial. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new quota template. I'm going to name this template user data. And I'm going to set this to a 5 gig limit. So we'll set 5 gigs. I'm going to make this a hard quota. And I'm going to set just an event log for a notification threshold. And I'll click OK for that. And I'm going to click OK. Now I have my user data quota shows up. When I create a new quota, so we'll go back to that quotas folder, create quota. Notice the default here is derive properties from this quota template. So that is what we are expected to do, and that is what is recommended. Earlier, we went through the customize option, but this time we're going to go with the quota template. The first thing I'm going to do for the quota path is click Browse. I'm going to choose the C drive again. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to name it Marketing. For this marketing folder, I'm going to choose that user data quota we just created. So I'm going to click Create. Notice the difference. The marketing folder has a source template user data. It gives me the information, 0% used, the limit, the quota type, but it also says source template data, match template yes. If you look at the sales data, that I created without using a template. So it says source template here, there's nothing. Source template in the column is blank, as is match template. Well, I'm going to create another quota, and we're going to compare these. So I'm going to browse the C drive again, as we did earlier. I'm going to create a folder named HR for our Human Resources department. I'm going to choose OK, and I'm going to choose that user data quota again, and I'm going to click Create. Well, notice under the source template, user data, both of those quotas show up. So when I glance at this interface, I can tell that both of these quotas were created based on the template. The one above, sales data, was not created based on a template. The significance of that, if I were to purchase more storage and I want to increase this from 5 gigs to 10 gigs, instead of clicking these individually making a change, I could simply edit the quota template. If I go back to the quota template, user data, I'm going to edit the template properties, and I'm going to change this from 5 gigs to 10 gigs. When I click OK, it asks me if I want to apply template only to derive quotas that match the original template. What that means, if the quota has been changed after it was created using the template, it no longer matches. Let's take a look at that, because that can actually be a little confusing. So I'm going to cancel this window, and I'm going to cancel this one. I'm going to go back to the quotas. Notice that both of these say match template yes. In our scenario, I'm going to say someone came to me and told me the marketing department needed to store more graphics files, so they needed more space. So I'm going to edit the quota properties, not for the template, but just for the marketing quota. I'm going to change this from 5 gigs to 7 gigs. I'm going to choose OK. Notice that the marketing still says source template user data, but match template now says no. So when I look in this window, I know both were created from that template, but I also know the marketing no longer matches. So we know that has been changed after it was created using the template. I know the HR folder still matches the template, so none of the quota properties have been changed. Well, if I go to the quota template, I have a few options, but the main two. If I edit the user data template, it's going to ask me if I want to edit quotas that match the original template. If I choose that option, only the ones that say yes here would be modified. So in our case, if I change the quota template to 10 gigs, then said only modify quotas that match the original template, only the HR would be changed. Marketing would not because it no longer matches. The other common option is to change all quotas derived from the template. Then it would not matter if it said yes or no. It's going to change every quota ever created from that template. Usually, when you think of a template, most likely you think of a template as a baseline. You use a template to create something, then you're done with the template forever. Well, that's not true with quotas. With quotas, that template is forever linked to these locations. So right now I have a 5 gig and a 7 gig quota limit. Well, I'm going to go back to the quota template. I'm going to edit the properties, and we're going to change this to 10 gigs. When I click OK on that, now it gives me 3 options. 2 we described earlier. Apply template only to derive quotas that match the original template. That was the column that said yes. Apply template to all derived quotas. Does not matter if it says yes or no for the match template. Everything's going to be changed to the 10 gigs I set here. Or the third option, do not apply template to derived quotas. That would have no effect on any quotas you have previously created, but any new quota would be 10 gigs. I'm going to leave this on apply template to all derived quotas, and I'm just going to choose OK. So now my quota template is 10 gigs. When I go back to quotas, notice it changed both to 10 gigs and both are set back to match template. So the theory behind this, which is very important, the theory is these quotas are created in a purpose-driven way. So I won't create a quota and just use it on random folders because the size matches. If you have home folders or a specific type of content, you would use a quota for that, with the assumption being you may reuse that quota on multiple shares or even multiple file servers. And if you modify that, you may want to modify that quota everywhere it's ever been used. In the next section, we're going to take a look at these file screens.